much as, right, it is well known that socialism has killed more people than any other political ideology in the history of the world, be it right wing socialism like National Socialism or left wing socialism like Marxism and communism. Socialism has killed more people. But this socialist government of ours, this Labour government, has revealed something else about socialism. It's revealed something deep within Marxism that is very unsettling. I mean, we should have worked it out. Pol Pot killed millions, Hitler killed millions, all socialists kill millions. But this Labour government has showed us that Marxism and socialism, what we are dealing with, is in fact a death cult. First of all, this death cult socialist government decided to try and kill off a few pensioners. This was ideologically driven. You see, they consider pensioners of no use to the state and more of a burden to the state, so get rid of them as they are of no use to the state. The state is all what matters under socialism. Marxist utopia, the state rules and everybody works for the state. If somebody can't work for the state, they are of no good, get rid of them. Right, so they wanted to kill all the pensioners, so they cut the winter fuel allowance. They've brought this back not because they've changed their mind or because they're not a death cult. It's because they have more killing they want to do. Now, then they decided to bring in assisted dying. You see, this is it. Assisted dying is going to remove lots of pensioners. They get ill just to have assisted dying, and eventually you can get it so that the state decides who lives or dies. Basically, the power of life and death now belongs to the state because of this bill, because of this death cult Labour government. Now, if somebody has a treatable disease, the powers that be will be, have you considered assisted suicide? They're also going to use this on many disabled people who they also consider to be a burden to the state and of no use to the state and want rid of, according to their extreme left death cult ideology. Right, the assisted dying is they'll be able to get rid of lots of people that they consider of no use to the state and a burden to the state that way. They have absolute no regard for human life. So they want to get rid of them also because this Labour government is a death cult government. They love death. They love killing people. They are absolutely evil. So they want to bring in, they've brought in assisted suicide, so they're going to be able to get rid of loads of people they consider of no use to the state, and the rest of us who can be of use to the state will be slaves of the state. We will no longer be free. This government is a proper socialist government. But it gets worse. With the DWP have had this death cult philosophy for the last 30 years and have been quietly murdering disabled people. What this death cult government wants to do and is doing is by cutting PIP and etc., they are going to make the murders that the death cult DWP have been committing illegal, because this is a death cult government. Now, PIP is not an out of work benefit. Get this right. PIP is not an out of work benefit. People are working in receipt of PIP. But for some reason, they want to make it look like people on PIP are not working because they consider disabled people of no use to the state and a burden to the state, of no use. They consider no use to the state if they're working or not. So they want to kill them all because they are a death cult government. Now, they are lying to the electorate. They are lying on the news. They are lying throughout the media. They are deceiving the electorate into thinking that PIP is an out-of-work benefit, which it is not. Here, Lisa Nandy, she says it about PIP makes a difference between PIP and working twice to deceive the electorate. Listen.
We're introducing a right to try for the first time. Lots of my constituents worry about coming off PIP and into work because it's so then hard to go back through a reassessment process, very gruelling process in order to get back onto it. So one of the reforms that we're introducing is that you can try work without risking losing your benefits and go back onto PIP if it doesn't work out without any kind of reassessment. I'm really confident that when you put this together, this is the right thing to do.
Lying totally with a straight face. I mean, how these horrible socialists in this death cult Labour Party manage to just lie and keep a straight face. I mean, it really is quite amazing. But she's actually saying that her constituents are worried about going into work and losing PIP and then having to go back on PIP. But PIP is not a fucking work-based benefit. They are deceiving the electorate on purpose. She hasn't spoken to any of her constituents. She's not speaking in none of her constituents has said that. I mean, she is just making crap up to actually support the extermination of disabled people. Basically, they want to take PIP off disabled people so they're no longer able to work and then they starve to death. That's the plan, you see, because they won't be able to get any universal credit because they're disabled. And the DWP is well set up to exterminate disabled people, and it's been doing it for the last 30 years. And this death cult Labour government is right behind this, has the same sick, revolting ideology that has no regard on human life and wants to kill all these disabled people. But what is quite shocking is that there are actually Labour people who disagree with this.
Some of the policy decisions that have been made were ill-advised. The winter fuel allowance was the wrong decision to make, in my view. Not reversing the two-child cap on universal credit, the wrong decision. And now, potentially, cutting the benefits of disabled people, the wrong decision. We've got to listen to our voters, our lifelong Labour voters and the voters that we want to woo, and understand that these are issues that are important to them. And it's an interesting, there's been an interesting set of polling that was done over the weekend that looked at Labour switchers, but also Reform voters. And interestingly, a lot of Reform voters want to see a more left-wing economic agenda. They want to see nationalisation of key utilities. They want to see our industries protected from foreign takeovers. These are all traditional Labour positions. So we need to listen to that and recognise that that's certainly the direction that we should be taking the party in and protecting the most vulnerable and the people that need us the most.
So Ron Daly disagrees with them. That's fascinating, isn't it? I mean, but they're not going to alter. They are a death cult. These policies of death are being ideologically driven by the statist doctrines of socialism. And basically, if you are of no use to the state or deemed of no use to the state, they want you dead. It's that simple. Basically, so basically, they want to kill lots of pensioners. They want to kill disabled people. They're brought in assisted dying to kill people who may need medical attention all their life for the rest of their lives, and it could be 20 or 30 years. But as they're of no use to the state, they want to kill them all. I mean, this is what they do. And then to top this off, they brought in abortion up to the point of delivery. Now, I'm just going to show a video of what went on in the debate they had in America before Roe v. Wade was overturned. I'm just going to show a clip from it, okay?
Dr. Levatino, we'll begin with you. Welcome.
Thank you, Chairman and members of the committee. I only have 5 minutes, so I'm going to get right to it. Second trimester D&E abortions performed between roughly 14 and 24 weeks of gestation. Your patient today is 17 years old. She's 22 weeks pregnant. Her baby is the length of your hand plus a couple of inches. and she's been feeling her baby kick for the last several weeks, but she's asleep on an operating room table. You walk into that operating room scrubbed and gowned, and after removing laminaria, you introduce a suction catheter into the uterus. This is a 14 French suction catheter. If she were 12 weeks pregnant or less, basically the width of your hand or smaller, you could basically do the entire procedure with this. But babies this big don't fit through catheters this size. After suctioning the amniotic fluid out from around the baby, you introduce an instrument called a Sofer clamp. It's about 13 inches long. It's made of stainless steel. The business end of this clamp is about 2.5 inches long and 1/2 inch wide. There are rows of sharp teeth. This is a grasping instrument. When it gets a hold of something, it does not let go. A D&E procedure is a blind abortion, so picture yourself introducing this and grabbing anything you can blindly and pull, and I do mean hard, and out pops a leg about that big, which you put down on the table next to you. Reach in again, and pull out an arm about the same length, which you put down on the table next to you. And use this instrument again and again to tear out the spine, the intestines, the heart and lungs. Head on the baby that size is about the size of a large plum. Can't see it, but you pretty good idea you've got it if you've got your instrument around something and your fingers are spread about as far as they go. You know you did it right if you crush down on the instrument and white material runs out of the cervix. That was the baby's brains. Then you could pull out skull pieces. And you have a day like I had a lot of times, sometimes a little face comes back and stares back at you. Congratulations, you just successfully performed a second trimester D&E abortion. You just affirmed her right to choose.
And now, this death cult, Labour government, has made it legal up to 8.5 months, 9 months. Infanticide is now legal in the United Kingdom because of this death cult socialist government run by Labour. Right, now when it comes to assisted dying, Esther Ranson actually said that those of us who were against assisted dying, it was out of hidden religious beliefs. Right. I believe that all people are made in God's image. Therefore, I have a high regard to human life. Therefore, I am against the the murder of pensioners by taking away their winter fuel allowance. I am against assisted dying. I am against the murder of disabled people, and I am against abortion, especially. Well, you can't argue that it's not human if it could have been born before then, and it's murder. That's what it is. Am I hiding any of my religious beliefs by saying this? In a culture or a society, the more human life is valued, the more freedom that society has. For instance, countries that have the death penalty, the people have less freedom. You can look up the stats. That is the case. The lower the regard for human life, the less freedom. It is a correlation, and it is. If human life isn't valued, then people are not valued. So you can enslave them. So a government will enslave them. Socialism has no regard for human life and no regard for people's freedom. So what we are having is our freedoms taken away and our right to life being taken away. Death and bondage is what is being offered by this Labour government, this death cult government, because it is a socialist government. Socialism is a death cult. Anyway, thank you very much and goodbye.